Whoa, this gameplay is fire! Metroid Prime is one of the best games ever made. It blew fans away when it came out on the GameCube and turned Retro Studios into a household name. And now, just over 20 years since that original release, Retro are back again to let us relive Samus's first 3D adventure on the Nintendo Switch. And what an adventure it still is. Sometimes when you play a game you loved growing up, you realise it doesn't hold up as well as you thought it did. Topical, but I, Nantenjex, recently played through all of GoldenEye again on NSO, and that is a game I think hasn't held up very well. In stark contrast, Metroid Prime is a game that has held up remarkably well, and in many ways is better than a lot of modern AAA games out there, without really doing much new. Metroid Prime Remastered is, as the title suggests, a remaster. It's not a port, as there are some changes made here, but it's not a remake, as the game is almost entirely identical to its original release, for better and for worse. This does mean that if you had issues with the game design of the original Metroid Prime, then nothing here will change your mind. The game is mostly phenomenal, but that final stretch of the game where you have to hunt down all the artifacts and items is still rather annoying. And for us completionists, it's also frustrating how many missable logs there are, from bosses where you have to scan multiple parts of it for it to all register, or enemies that are only in one area and then disappear without warning after a certain point in the game. Those parts still suck. In the grand scheme of things though, these are minor complaints, as the rest of the game is phenomenal, with great level design and amazing feeling controls. And this is one of the benefits that the remaster offers. For the first time you can now play Metroid Prime in twin-stick shooter mode, a more familiar mode that is basically used in every FPS today. It makes aiming so much easier, although to be fair here, Samus's ability to lock onto enemies kind of made aiming a moot point anyway. There is a downside to this option however, as the right stick was previously used to quick swap between blaster types, and so now it requires holding down the X button and then using the D-pad, which isn't as snappy. Thankfully, Retro Studios has given us a ton of controller options, including swapping the visors and blaster types around, so it can be customised to the player's playstyle. I personally scan everything in the game as if I'm working checkout at a supermarket, but once my logbook was mostly full, I swapped a blaster for easy weapon swapping, especially because enemies later might only die to one type of weapon. You don't have to play twin stick of course. Metroid Prime Remastered offers the option to play the classic way if you want, or even use pointer controls from Metroid Prime Trilogy, and a new hybrid mode that combines pointer with traditional control types. In addition to the new controls, there are also some fun new extras. More concept art has been added to the image gallery, and there is a sound test, but my favourite is the Super Smash Bros. Style 3D model viewer. Collecting trophies of Samus and every enemy in the game is a nice reward, and they are just pretty to look at. And that's the biggest improvement the remaster has going over the original. It's pretty to look at. Actually, pretty doesn't do it justice. The game is gorgeous. It's not just that the game is now in widescreen and in HD. Every asset in this title has been remade. It's a complete graphical overhaul that sticks to the original art style, and it's made the already immersive and beautiful planet of Talon 4 even more incredible to travel through. Samus's armour has a wonderful shine to it, and the enemies look appropriately monstrous with their new details. There are even some enemies where I can actually see the details on them that I assume were always there, but just hard to make out. It looks great, probably the best Samus has ever looked to be honest. Metroid Prime Remastered is the best version of one of the best games ever made. And if that's not a recommendation to all of you to go and play it now, then I don't know what is. Even if you aren't usually a fan of Nintendo games, you'd be doing yourself a disservice not checking out this title. A special thanks to all of our patrons. The $5 plus tier are on screen right now. If you want to know how you can join them, then check out the link to our Patreon below. You get access to our Patreon Discord channels, can chat directly with the team, and see some of our upcoming content early. Let us know if you bought the new Metroid Prime Remaster or if you are planning to, and hit that subscribe button so that you always remember to return to the source.